So good day everyone. So this is Shane and I am going to discuss what is percentage tax. So I'm going to be explaining what percentage tax is and then also differentiate it with value-added tax and then enumerate other percentage taxes and then we'll solve an illustrative problem for us to understand further what percentage tax is. So, percentage tax is a business tax that pertains to Section 116 of the Tax Code, as amended, which is generally imposed on persons whose gross sales or gross receipts does not exceed the voters' hold of 3 million. Now take note also, persons who are engaged in VAT exempt transactions are not also subject to percentage tax. So, percentage tax and value-added tax both are business taxes, but they differ in their rates and how they are imposed. Now, for percentage tax, it shall be 3% based on quarterly gross receipts or gross sales, whereas for value-added tax, the rate is 12%, but this is in consideration of input and output VAT. Now, to emphasize, percentage tax pertains to Section 116 of the Tax Code as amended, whereas other percentage taxes pertains to Section 117 down to Section 127 of the Tax Code. Now, I'll have a more detailed discussion on other percentage taxes, but on this video, let's try to enumerate them. So Section 117 relates to domestic carriers and keepers of garages. Section 118 is international air shipping carriers doing business in the Philippines. Next would be Section 119, which franchise grantees such as gas and water utilities, radio and television broadcasting companies. Section 120, overseas dispatch message or conversation originating from the Philippines. Section 121 relates to banks and non-bank financial intermediaries performing quasi-banking functions. And next would be Section 122, other non-bank financial intermediaries. Next would be Section 123, life insurance companies, agent corporation. Now except purely cooperative companies or associations. And then 124, agents of foreign insurance companies. Now except reinsurance premium section. Section 125, amusement tax section. 126 is tax on winnings, and then lastly 127, tax on sale, barter, or exchange of shares of stock listed and traded through the local stock exchange or through initial public offering. So let's go to our illustration case number 1. RJB is engaged in the following business activities for the year: buying and selling computer parts with gross sales of 1,500,000 as a freelance web developer with gross receipt of 500,000. Now let's determine the business tax of the taxpayer and how much should be the tax due for individuals who earn from practice or profession, and also revenue from business. The gross receipts or sales shall be aggregated for the purpose of determining if the 3 million VAT threshold is met. In our illustration here, the business income is 1.5 million and the income from practice or profession is 500,000. Still below the threshold, so the taxpayer is liable for 3% tax. So to compute 2 million, which is the combined gross receipts, multiplied to 3%, the percentage tax due for the year is 60,000. Assuming the taxpayer opted to be taxed at 8% optional income tax rate, how much is the percentage tax due? So taxpayers who opt to be taxed at 8% optional income tax rate shall no longer be liable to pay percentage tax. Therefore, the percentage tax due is 0. So, Let's proceed to illustration case number 2. VRM is engaged in leasing out apartments per unit for 15,000 monthly and also sells medicines for diabetes and hypertension. The aggregate annual gross receipts is 3 million. Determine the business tax and tax due. To answer this, based on the update of the train law, both the nature of the business is VAT exempt, so it is not also subject to percentage tax. Therefore, the percentage tax due is 0. Lastly, the filing of percentage tax shall be within 25 days at the end of each taxable quarter and then use BIR form 25512 in filing. So that will be my last discussion about percentage tax. So that's it. Thank you and have a good day.